this episode of Viral Rewind, we're looking at the Lucas-DOS virus. Now, if you've seen the video thumbnail for this, then you kind of already know what it is, and to me, it's kind of a bit of a humorous parody take on Lucasfilms and the Star Wars movies. So there really wasn't any information online to find out about this virus, but it was relatively easy. It was through some testing to figure out what it does, so it didn't take a lot of effort or time to decipher it. So with the Lucas-DOS virus, I found that it is a direct action infector of .com files. In fact, all .com files in the present directory that it is run from. So it is not a TSR where it stays resident in memory and infects as we run something. It just infects all the .com files the moment we run the infected Lucas program, and then we'll actually see the effect of what it does to those infected .com files. So, and of course, the other thing is that Lucas, the payload happens immediately after it has finished infecting all the .com files from the directory that it is run in, and of course we'll see the payload that way, so I'm just go ahead and run it now. Hit the enter key, and you hear the hard drive activity run some there, and then we get this little pop-up graphic of kind of parodying Lucasfilms, Lucasarts, all of them, with the guy, and you can see this text scrolling on the bottom there. At the same time, kind of parodying sort of an opening crawl that you would see in the Star Wars movies. Of course, this is called Lucas Labs, and as far as I know, there was never actually something called Lucas Labs. You had Lucasfilm, which of course did the movies. You had Lucasarts, which did the games, and then there were a couple of other things that had the Lucas branding on there, but as far as I know, there wasn't really a Lucas Labs. However, I could be wrong on that, and someone will probably correct me in the comments if that is the case. So, anyway, again, when you run Lucas for the first time, it will search all .com files out in the present directory that it's run from, but it will skip over command.com. So command.com will not get infected with Lucas. However, Lucas's infection does come at a cost, and we'll see that when we look at one of the infected.com files. So as soon as the scrolling text is over, it returns us to the DOS prompt here. If we rerun our directory listing, if you noted at the file sizes from before, you will see that they have gone up by about 1,871 bytes, which is the infection size of Lucas. So if we rerun something like sys, again, it brings up the same payload with Lucas Labs, and we can actually read the text at the bottom this time. It is a time of civil war. Using fear and intimidation, the Empire seeks to impose a new order on the galaxy. Only the Rebel Alliance stands in the way of their evil plans. Not yet willing to confront the Empire directly, the rebels are marshalling their forces in secrecy. Even now, a group of their prized Calamari Cruisers is being intercepted by a squadron of Imperial Star Destroyers. The rebel fleet is outnumbered, but they have a surprise: the X-Wing Starfighter. And let me go ahead and plug my camera in here because it's complaining about low battery before it goes out on me here. So that's this little printout that it has, but as you saw, it actually did return us to the intended program, required forever missing. Okay. Because it seemed like before, sometimes when I ran this, it seemed like before that it actually did not point back to the original program. Let's see, does edit run? Let's see if edit comes up after this. Now, one of the things I also mentioned before is that the Package Build Legend 100 CD here seems to be a good system for showing this virus on, because it's not too overly fast, but it's also not too doggedly slow. like when I say compared to running it on IBM PS1 or one of my faster packet built MMX capable desktops. And that's because the timing of the CPU relies or is pertinent to the scrolling text here. So on the PS1, it runs really slow, that scrolling text on the bottom. You run it on the MMX Pentium, and it's running a bit too fast. So here with this 60 megahertz socket 4 Pentium, it's pretty well balanced, so that it's actually readable, that you're not racing through it, but also not waiting so doggone long for it to get through. And you can break out of this. If you use control break, it will actually exit out of the payload here, but of course your program will not launch either. You have to actually wait for this scrolling text to finish, and if you're on a slow computer like the PS1, that's a long time waiting. Okay, so it looks like the MS-DOS editor did in fact come up. So that was one of the things I wasn't sure of before when I was testing it, probably because I was using the control break, which I can show. Use control break and we can get out of it. So it does actually run the program after the payload finishes, but as I say, depending on how fast the clock speed is on the computer that is infected with the Lucas-DOS virus here, you either are going to have to wait quite a few minutes to be able to just run your program, or if you got a faster computer, it'll just zip through the payload there relatively quick. But again, that's really all there is for the Lucas-DOS virus.